Hey guys, how you doing? Today I'm going to be reviewing Disclosure Day. This was directed by Steven Spielberg, one of the greatest directors of all time. Has had so many bangers, E.T., loads more. He's a legend, which meant automatically this was a must-watch at the cinema. The trailers have been fine, nothing crazy. I'm just going to say it. I don't want to hold back. I despised this film. This was a huge waste of time. It's one of the worst paced films I've seen in a very long time. It felt like I was in that cinema for 4 hours.
4 fucking hours!
But let's try and keep a structure here. So let's just start off with that. I did not enjoy the film, just to let you know right off the bat, and we're going to get into why. Let's start off with just a summarized, as we do, Google summary of the plot of the film, just so as a starting point, and we could get into some spoilers. So spoiler warning, there will be certain spoilers here and there, but I'll try and just keep it as streamlined as possible for you guys. So small plot description: a meteorologist and a cybersecurity expert find themselves at the center of a movement to expose the government's cover-up of extraterrestrial secrets. So that's basically what the trailer was. This is what the whole film's about. It's called Disclosure Day, right? About knowing the truth and the question of should the public, should they know the truth? And here it's about aliens, but I believe it's more symbolic and a lot more, let's just say, hinting at society right now and what we should be exposed to and what we shouldn't be, and what's the purpose of that. That's what I thought this film was going to go into in a lot more detail, and I think that's an interesting topic. At its face value, yeah, this is a sci-fi film, or a film about aliens, and that's what it's about. But if you actually take a step back, this film had a lot of opportunity and a lot of potential to go into some questions that are entertaining and interesting questions to ask your audience, in the sense of, should we know everything? Is that better for us? Or are we being told stuff? Are we being exposed to stuff that we shouldn't be, to desensitize us? For instance, so much stuff has happened in the last 5 years. You've got all the Epstein file stuff. There's always stuff about alien sightings and stuff like that. There's so much stuff that we're exposed to now today, primarily because of social media and using your phones constantly. You're more exposed, and it's easier to access this information and find out stuff that we wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Like, I thought this film was going to go into that, and from the trailers, what the trailers gave you is everything you actually got in the film. That is it. It's the most face value film. Watch the trailer, you've watched the film. And that might make no sense to you, because you might say, like I did, what do you mean though? The trailers are confusing as fuck. I watched the trailers and wanted to see the film because the trailers were so confusing. I don't actually know what the film's about. Well, neither does Steven Spielberg, because what is this film about? I couldn't tell you. I sat in there for the full fucking 18-hour runtime. Actually, I think it was 2.5 hours, but it felt like I was in there for a day. He couldn't tell you what his film's about. It has 4 different films in itself. There's a Narnia aspect to it. Then there's your classic James Bond car chase bullshit in there, Mission Impossible type shit. There was even a train sequence. Then there's the like serious espionage government shit. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It's such a confusing experience. Let's get into the cast quickly, because I don't know how to feel. Like the whole film, I don't know how I feel about the cast and the jobs they did. I'll start off with one of the main this is the main positive of the film. Emily Blunt might be the best actress working today, and it goes under the radar because she's in a lot and she's very good at what she's in, but she doesn't go for these huge roles. She what was the last film I've seen her in? I'm trying to think. I didn't watch Jungle Cruise, which seemed like a little kids film, nothing crazy special, but that proves my point. When she goes for roles like this, bear in mind this film is a massive letdown. It's a big Steven Spielberg blockbuster, spectacular, not blockbuster, but spectacular film, and she's at the forefront. The script she was given is ass, but with what she works with, she's the most likable part of the film by a long shot. Her charm and natural charisma is something you can't learn. Obviously, actors can learn as they grow and get bigger roles and improve. But there's certain things that you, like Robert Downey Jr., you can't teach his charm. Tom Cruise, you can't teach what he brings to a film in terms of just the gravitas and there's certain actors that you can't teach stuff. And Emily Blunt, her charm and charisma is just, it's magnetic. Tell me if you guys agree. I easily think she was one of the best parts of this film. For what they wanted him to be, Colin Firth served his purpose. His character is, I can't say that word, his character is dumb, as is a lot of the characters. Josh O'Connor, here's another issue I have with the cast, and I'll get into it in a second. I'll go more directly into what I want to say. Even Google, I'm looking at Google right now, yeah? Even Google doesn't know what his character's called. I couldn't tell you his character's name, but Google doesn't know. In fact, it only knows 4 characters' names that are in the film. And I couldn't have told you them. Maybe Jane I'd remember because it's said like every other minute of the first act. But okay, let's try and structure this. So let's finish the cast. Coleman Domingo as Hugo, he's fine. He's a good actor. I like him. I believe he was in Running Man. Hopefully he was. I don't want to come across like I've just said he looks like someone else. I don't want to get cancelled. Hold up. Yep, Running Man. I am not getting cancelled today. But yeah, he was fine. He was fine. He served his purpose. Wyatt Russell seemed fine. He was just sort of there. And he wasn't a major character, but he didn't blow me away. He wasn't given much to do, but he was fine. That's all I really got to say about the cast. Let's get into the plot, right? This plot made no sense. It was the most coincidental, lucky, what's the word? Convenient. The most convenient outcome every single time they faced adversity. They have this fucking... Let's just start from the beginning. It throws you right into the action. Josh O'Connor's character is being chased. He has a bag with a device in it, this alien device that they're searching for. And he also has all this footage and information that he's going to expose to the world. That's the whole premise, right? He has all the footage of the aliens coming to Earth and everything. I can't remember. They might have told me why he has the footage. It doesn't matter why he has the footage. He has it. They're chasing him. And he's with his partner, Jane. Then on the flip side, you have Emily Blunt's character, who's a weather woman on the news. And these two are somehow linked. I'm going to try and keep that part vague. Let's just say they're linked, and it's heavily to do with the extraterrestrial side of the story, which comes all to a climax at the end of the film in the final act. I shit you not, the first hour of this film, I think I fell asleep for a solid 10-15 minutes. It's a weird experience because it's not fair to say nothing's happening. You're thrown into the action, stuff's happening. I couldn't give a solitary, single, individual fuck about what was happening. I couldn't care. Do you want to know why? And this is what I was saying earlier, briefly mentioned in the cast that I was going to go into in more depth. I'm going to talk about it now. They aren't characters. I couldn't tell you who they are as people, what their motives are, what they actually core qualities of the characters. They're almost playing characters of what the film is trying to discuss about disclosure and politics and, you know, where you stand and religion. And I don't feel like I'm watching characters in a film progress and have character arcs. It just feels like I'm watching someone on the run. As soon as Josh O'Connor's character shows Jane the footage, it just feels like they're there to have this philosophical debate, and it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like that's exactly where my brain would go to straight off the bat. It just, and that's not to say it's not an interesting question, and Steven Spielberg clearly had an agenda's harsh, but he clearly wanted you to question, you know, religion and the idea of, is religion, would you believe in religion if you knew higher power existed? And that's very much at the forefront of these two characters, Josh O'Connor's character and Jane. And they have this debate, and as interesting as the debate could be, it's the most surface value debate I've ever seen. It's not gone into with any more depth. And it's not a debate between two characters that I care about. It's just a debate that's being had for the audience. If that makes any sense. I don't know the best way to describe it better than that. You watch a film. What's a good film? What's a good example? Fucking anything. Like Back to the Future, anything. Star Wars. There's characters that have qualities. You build characters to like them. Luke starts off as this annoying farm boy. He's constantly whinging and whining. These are character traits that he develops as the films go on. Han, you see him, he's quite rash. He's all about the money. Little comments here and there that build a character, and you get to see them progress.
Come on. Why don't you take a look around? You know what's about to happen, what they're up against. They could use a good pilot like you. You're turning your back on them.
What good's the reward if you ain't around to use it? Besides, attacking that battle station ain't my idea of courage. It's more like suicide.
Hey! I knew you'd come back. I just knew it. Well, I was gonna let you get all the credit and take all the reward.
Hey, I knew that was more to you than money.
Your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker. We'll see you in hell.
There's no progression here for me. There's no character arcs. There's no journeys. They aren't real characters. This film is primarily about the questions it wants you to think about, rather than being a fucking film that is enjoyable to watch. If that makes any sense. I can't sit here and say I enjoyed. I really despise, or not despise, I was bored out of my mind for the majority of this film. To the point where I was getting rage baited into falling asleep. I can't believe I fell asleep in the first 10 minutes, because it started quite fast and you were thrown into this chase, and yeah, just I genuinely fell asleep. It was mental. But yeah, it's weird. I feel very passionately yet feel nothing about this film at the same time. I feel like I was robbed of an evening. I think that's why. I think this film puts no effort in at all in terms of actually building a compelling film. And this is the best way of putting it. I said this to my mates as we left the cinema. It thinks it's so profound. One of my mates doesn't particularly like Nolan films, and he says that every Nolan film feels like it's trying to be the best film of all time. Every film's about the end of the world, and all the scale is always on this epic scale when it doesn't need to be. I disagree with that. I get where he's coming from. I can see the point. That's how I felt about this film. Everything felt like it was sniffing its own farts, and it was not as interesting as it thought it was. Like, let's talk about the ending. This will be a heavily spoiled section, because this is where everything comes to a front. They finally get the alien footage and Emily Blunt back to the news station, and they finally show everything to the world. Everyone's on their phones watching the news. And they don't... This is where I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for that. They're building it, they're building it, they're building it. They're gonna explode with all of this new info and this new... We're gonna see what they did to the aliens and how they've used the aliens and what they've been doing all this time. Maybe how they've influenced the world behind the scenes and what's, you know, what is being distracted by. What in the world is being distracted for you to watch this alien footage? What's the purpose? What is the larger purpose? Nothing. It's the most face value bullshit stuff I've ever seen in my life. They show a few clips. We knew the whole time that aliens were real. That's the whole purpose of the fucking film. What are you revealing to the audience at the end? What was worth me sitting for fucking 84 hours in this cinema? What are you building to? What's the crescendo of this film that's going to blow my mind? Nothing. Nothing. Literally nothing. They show the clips. The alien gets wheeled out on some stretcher. By the way, why would you make your aliens look like fucking Paul? It just looks like the most cliche. Like, you ask a 2-year-old to draw an alien, that's what it will draw. That's not a major critique of the film. That's obviously a nitpick, but it just... I couldn't take it seriously. I just kept thinking of that Paul film.
Get your goddamn hands off my motherfucking junk!
There was no payoff. And the final line, the alien whispers into Josh O'Connor's ear, who whispers into Emily Blunt's ear, because it's finally going to say something to the world. After all this time, it's been uncovered. And what does she say? Listen. Watch out, guys. Actually, hold up. Nah, that's a great ending. That's my bad. I misunderstood that ending. Listen, how fucking profound. Get the fuck out. What was that? What was that ending? All of that wait for listen? Listen to what? Listen to my footsteps leaving the cinema, bro, because that was ass. There was a kid talking throughout the whole film in my screening, right? And at the start, I wanted to throw him off a balcony because why bring a kid to this film? That's the parents' fault. B, the kid had a fucking tablet, an iPad out in a cinema, waffling, talking throughout the whole thing. As the film went on, I appreciated him because the film was so dull that whatever he was singing about was more interesting than the film. I'm not joking. Maybe a little bit. But the ending was severely disappointing. And the final nail in the coffin of this film, this isn't a big part to be honest, the CGI was ass. There's animals and that show up throughout that link to the aliens. And the aliens themselves, they looked fine. They didn't look too bad CGI wise. The animals looked like they were straight from the 2000s animation, bro. It looked bad. It looked really bad. That's all I have to say. 4 out of 10. That's what I would give this film. It's a 4 out of 10. I did not have a good time in this film. Thank God Emily Blunt's in it, otherwise it would probably be lower. If you struggle with sleep, once this film's out on digital, I've found your solution, bro. Fuck all that peppermint tea bullshit. Stick on Disclosure Day and you'll get your 8 hours, my friend. You will. And you have me to thank and Steven Spielberg to thank for that. But yeah, a waste of time, big disappointment. Doesn't go into anything beyond the obvious topics that the trailer presents. Doesn't go into any interesting conversations. All it does, you know how I'd describe it, is how people said for Man of Steel or Snyder's Superman, the laziest thing you could do with Superman is compare him to Jesus. Fair enough. I think this was the laziest thing you could do with Disclosure. I really do. It's just bad, evil government men trying to hunt them down whilst they do it. And right at the end, as soon as they fucking get there and Colin Firth confronts him, he just gives up. And just lets it happen. They build, I'll say this as well, they build Colin Firth up. He has this conversation with Hugo using the MacGuffin device. That fucking device, that alien MacGuffin device, is ass. Doing whatever they needed it to do, whenever they wanted it to do. It can make you fucking see things, and there's some cool concepts there, but it just seems so convenient. Like, you're telling me Josh O'Connor knows that Jane can be taken over, her eyes can be taken over by Colin Firth, the antagonist, and he hides all the signs of where they're staying in that motel, in that whole room. But the fuck off paper that says this specific motel, he goes to sleep and he's just holding it there in perfect line view for Jane's eyesight to see. Get the fuck out. Who wrote this shit? That's fucking poor. That's poor, man. Yeah, I'm ranting at this point, but yeah, 4 out of 10. Mortal Kombat's better. What else is better? Everything else other than Wuthering Heights this year has been better. Wuthering Heights was atrocious. Yeah, Mando and Grogu's better. I said it. Don't hate me. Hate the game. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought. Do you hate my review? Do you disagree with most things I said? Maybe you do. I don't particularly care. I'll say how I feel. I do care, however, about what issues you had with the film, and if you liked it, I genuinely want to hear about why you liked it. Tell me what about this film didn't send you to sleep. I'm interested, so let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope I didn't annoy you guys too much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.